For those who don't know, it's me, Bun, back for another episode of Speak Your Perspective. We got SB, the student, over here. We got Knots behind the scenes, doing all the mixed magic audio. But SB, I'm going to let you introduce this guest that we have here.
Let's go. Special guest that we got out here.
When you brought the idea up, I said, yo, brother, I'm all in.
Only going up this year.
So
Without getting
right
into
ahead.
that, but like, yeah, no, we got a special guest here right now. So we got David Ariza, aka Mr. Juno, which I keep throwing on him right now. But honestly, welcome
Actually,
to
you know what I should have given him? That's the one right there, yo. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can finish.
That's all good, man. I'm just saying, welcome to Speak Your Perspective, brother. So it's good to have you out here and chat it up. So
thank you, man. It's an honor to be here, honestly, bro. Like, ever since we met each other, man, you got like this crazy personality.
it's been a good vibe. It's been a good vibe.
How'd you meet him? He picked you up at the club or something? Like
yeah, pretty much. He had the pink
probably-
polo on. He hasn't taken it off since.
Yeah, when did you become the comedian on the show?
what can I say, man? What can I say?
Only going up this year.
But
The reality is, though, it was just like, we got class together and stuff like that. But he's you know, when you just have a vibe with somebody and you haven't really talked to them, you kind of just pick up on the way that they're moving, the way that they're saying stuff. That was what it really was. It's like, oh shit, this guy's asking some smart questions, you know, like that makes sense. I would also think like that or whatnot. But then it was just conversations after the fact that kind of led to this. But to your point, back in January now, I wouldn't have thought it would have ended up like this.
Never in a million years, bro. I came to get an education. I came out here in the podcast. Yeah, man.
I was gonna say his pickup line was probably some sort of book recommendation.
Oh, for 100%. You gotta read this book. That's like your quote.
You gotta read this book.
He's got a hefty library too, though. So you get what I'm saying? He's a reader, brother.
Honestly,
he's a reader.
I think like most of our conversations kind of revolve around books. It's kind of just back and forth. We're really on this like, where I feel like I've been on this kind of I want to say self-help, but more like just getting different perspectives on.
That's all it's about, brother.
Yeah.
Only going up this year.
It's all just perspective.
Yeah.
Life really just is all a matter of perspective. It's the way you see yourself, the way you see the world. That's all that it is. And you got to be able to figure that part out. The way you think about yourself is the way you show up. Again, it's another one of those. Hove taught us that, yo.
The more you could develop that too, though, right? Because you have your way of looking at things, but the more you could bounce into other people's perceptions around you and the way that they're seeing things. And even when you're engaging in a conversation, whatever that conversation is, a business transaction, your teacher, your mentor, your child, your parent, your friend, your ex, when you could jump into their mindset too, man, like, oh man, it's a whole nother thing there.
That's the best part to it all. Trust me, yo.
Yeah.
I think that's what I get out of the books, to be honest, is like
100%.
you get to see it from like a whole different perspective. And it's someone really telling you like, yo, you got to try it. Like, you got to try this way of thinking. You got to try this way of seeing things. And
I remember this thing from Chameleonaire, right? Where he's like, he moved to whatever, the IT place in California. What's it called?
Silicon Valley.
There we go. And he's like, I meet more billionaires every day than I ever did in the rap industry, right?
Yeah.
I look at books like that, especially when the author is reading it, but you read a billionaire's book, bro, and he's letting you into his mindset. And on top of that, he's actually reading his book. Like, it's like you're literally having a conversation with this guy. When are you talking to a billionaire? How often are you talking to a billionaire? Like, you know what I mean?
It's facts, bro.
Yeah.
It's facts.
So to me, it's like when they're saying something, no one else can say something opposite of that. And I'm not saying it like I have to
they speak with authority.
believe everything, but I mean, like, for the most part, it shapes your perception and it broadens it a lot more than talking to the guy on the corner or whatever. Oh wait, we're not leaving. We're not talking about hip hop.
Question for you though.
Yeah.
You either produce or engineer. What do you see yourself as more?
I see engineering as a function of my production, but I think the bottom line for me is songwriting.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think like a great song.
You don't list that in your bio. Come on, man.
Songwriting. I guess it's implied, but you know what? I'll throw it up there. I'm gonna change that right now.
This guy went to the bio.
I'm just saying. You gotta let people know, like,
That's true.
You can do this, you can do that. You got a little bit of this in you. It's
producer,
like,
engineer.
My man did his research.
If I'm gonna call you, all I'm gonna see there is producer. Oh, you write songs? Oh, like, come help me write this out. Let's bang this out then.
I think honestly, working under like more experienced producers with like heftier catalogs and just more perspective, I realized that like they weren't like the value I could offer wasn't.
You want to throw some names out there? Like who are we talking?
Well, I learned. I did an internship with Frank Dukes and Doc McKinney briefly at House of Balloons.
Okay.
And in seeing some of that process, like I realized that it's really like they're not really doing anything different in terms of like the instruments they play. Obviously, they've had more years to hone their ears and their toolkit and getting to those sounds faster.
Yeah.
But I think it's really like it's all about the song, man.
Yeah.
It's like you take any great pop song, any Weeknd song,
Yeah.
any Lady Gaga song, Ed Sheeran, and you play that on the guitar at the campfire. You can like produce the shit out of it and play it in front of thousands of people. You can play it on the piano. You can just hum it, you know?
Yeah.
It's that connection that you're building with the audience, man. Whether it be the beat, the vibe, the words, the scenario, whatever painting you're painting right there, or whatever, painting you're painting right there. People to be able to actually see it, feel it, smell it, be there. Like people go crazy listening to these words. And people are passing out and stuff. It's a whole different kind of energy.
They are passing out.
Yeah.
It's true.
It happens though.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
How much of that stuff do you listen to? The Lady Gagas and that shit.
Honestly, like I do quite a bit. Like I listen to lots of world music, I think, for textures.
Okay.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm Hispanic, so like lots of like Latin American, Brazilian throwback stuff. Like I'm like really, really into kind of like those older vintage textures. Like 70s salsa is like a go-to. But I think like, man,
have you sampled anything like that before?
I don't like the sample
like
because like the reality is like to clear a sample. The business side of it is ugly. It's ugly, and it's just kind of like what I've been really working on that I spoke about briefly is like kind of being more of a multi-instrumentalist so that I can create the samples or like kind of create the idea of the sample to the point where like it can be sampled. Like I'm I get what you mean. Like you want whatever you create now to be sampled 20 years from now by
whoever, and you're sitting at wherever in Colombia,
trust me,
collecting your royalties like as a songwriter and as a producer and as an engineer and the whole 9 yards.
I think that's a good way to go though, because a lot of whatever you tell me, but I feel like a lot of everything that's going on right now, the originality is kind of missing. Everyone's kind of just sampling something to create something. No,
I would have to agree. I feel like there's a lot of really cool pop music coming out. Like they're trying different things and but there's a lot of throwback sounds, like lots of samples of a sample of a sample, you know. And I think it's like I think about that a lot because the way we were again briefly speaking about prior to coming here, it's like I look at it less as just creating songs and more as like culture. Like like when I work specifically with pop artists, specifically with people who want to have like a bigger audience, like it's like where do you fit into this culture, or what are you adding to it, or what is your reference point in order to let the audience understand where you're coming from and where you're trying to take them. And I think that's like all of that 100% is the songwriting. So the producing and the engineering could be like less auto-tune for a more natural sound. We'll make it sound maybe more like Lana Del Rey or something folkier, so then it'll feel warmer and it'll be more of a ballad. Whereas like if you crank up the auto-tune and you rap into it, then like all of a sudden it's like Future onwards. Like, and it's like these two things have a different vibe and they're like recipes almost.
Where do you seek your inspiration as a songwriter?
Man,
like I feel I can write an essay, but to me, like writing a song, there's a lot that goes into that.
Right now.
Shout
out Dr. Borges. I did it.
Shout out for real. Impressive human being.
Only going up this year.
But back to that,
I think a lot of the inspiration for the songs I've been writing happens in conversation with the artist.
Okay.
It'll be like a lot of like just like, how are you feeling today? Like, what's been happening? Isn't this crazy? What happened on the news? Or like, for certain artists, it's like, what do you really want to say? Like, in the sense of like, not what you expect people to like from you, but like, what was that 16-year-old you when you were trying to make music in your mom's basement? Like, what was that? Like that essence of the child in you, almost the dreamer in you wanting to say, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's some ratchet shit, you know? And it's like, yo, let's dial into that. Like, you don't have to like, go J. Cole and try and, you know, it's just like, let's get like some mumbles going.
Your story's your story.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to tell your story better than you, right?
Exactly.
And when it's like that real, like, that like inner inner you, that shit is like it transcends.
That stuff you do in the mirror by yourself when you're at home and nobody else is looking besides yourself.
Relaxing, you know,
because that's what it really is.
That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna be quoting Quincy Jones' book a lot in this conversation. I can just already feel it though. He's saying the exact same thing, right? So the 12 Notes it's his book, and he's talking about creativity and the music business.
If you don't know already, SB the Student on Instagram, go find him. Goodreads.
Give me a Goodreads or IG. But that one specifically, it's like for anybody that's in the music industry or considering being in the music industry, or is even like in art in some format, should go check that book out. But to your point, he's like, what matter? He's like, this is what his coach taught him, right? She's basically like, how you are on stage in front of everybody and how you are behind the scenes are correlated. They're very similar. You can't just put on a show in front of people and then when you're by yourself around people, you know, talking down to them or being rude, and then in front of the camera, you're all smiles and stuff like that. To your point though, she's like, or he's like, how much time you put into yourself off the camera when no one's looking is almost more important than when you're on it. So when no one's around, who are you
That's
then?
a bar.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That book, like I was saying this to you when we're driving here, that book is like, I go crazy with books, and there's always ones that just smack you a whole different way. And I wait for them. Like, when is it coming? When's the next one coming? Like, I almost obsess over that.
Shout it out one more time.
12 Notes by Quincy Jones.
Only going up this year.
That's one of those. I'm gonna end up saying something throughout the whole conversation. I can already feel it because I'm like vibing off of it heavy right now. I just finished it yesterday. But yeah,
for sure.
Please go on.
I had a mentor say that books find you.
I believe that.
Yeah, and I believe that. Like, I'll see a cover, and the cover will be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll pick it up. It'll be like an interesting name, and then like it'll sit there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then randomly I'll pick it up, and it'll be like,
story of my life.
This is like, I needed
well,
this
you need it right now.
Yeah. Like, this is speaking to me like in a direct, like,
you're
concise
actually
way.
reading though, not the audio that he's on, right?
See,
he does a bit of both, but I know
thank you.
I know he does a bit of both. I can't listen. I have to read the words in the book.
I have to read, and reading I think is a skill, man. Like, it's some shit that like you can't just jump into the, like, you have to like build up. I read a book called Deep Work actually that kind of references that ability of depth, like finding focus and depth, and he recommends reading as like the best practice for finding focus in any part of your life. And I think it's like, it took a while to get to that point where like I would say I'm a reader, but yeah, I feel like it sits more in me because I read it to myself almost, you know.
The reality of it is like you're a reader or you're a listener. Like, scientifically proven, there's different parts of your brain that are lighting up when you're reading something versus when you're listening to something. So the whole reason I even say that I'm a listener is because I listen to Managing Oneself. So when I listen to that book, he's the one that differentiated the differences. I forget his name now. Yeah, I'm not gonna even try to remember. But he popular guy, like executive. He's got a lot of good books. But this is a short read. But he basically goes into the different types of ways of learning. I didn't even know Audible or audio learning was something different. But until like that's when I really picked it up like through the roof.
I'm a heavy podcaster.
Yeah,
like I'll listen to because I spend a lot of time commuting, so then I'll be in the car, turn on the podcast. Yeah, but he's trying to get me to transition into just turn on a book instead of the podcast.
We're both messing around. He's trying to get me more into podcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm slowly getting.
They're different. It's like a different approach because like I learn a lot through conversation too.
Makes sense.
And I think podcasts have that in spades, but maybe like I also get distracted if shit is too tangential. Like if it goes into like different, like if the point, which is literally what I'm doing right now, like if it's meanders, whereas like a audiobook will be like chapter 1.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could even go to whatever chapter, whatever part that you need to read up on or hear on, and like there it goes.
I'm about to come off podcast though, but I want to shout one out real quick. I was just introduced to the other day. It's called The Blog Era. It's pretty interesting. Okay. You might like it a little bit. I like what they're doing in terms of bringing back just the audio, BG sound, and telling a story with the voiceovers at the same time. They're doing a pretty good job with it. But shout our thing up too. Speak your perspective. If you haven't linked to any one of our accounts, find us on Instagram, find us on the internet somewhere. YouTube, click the like and subscribe. I don't typically do this, Spotify. But come on, guys. Run our numbers up because
run it up.
Only going up this year.
Seriously.
Like SB said off the top, we are in here with the 2022 Rap Single of the Year Juno Award winner.
Jeez.
Only going up this year.
Yes, you guys.
I mean, we need to know.
Come again.
That part too.
Yeah.
What was the experience like when you created the song? Oh, by the way, the song's called Bold
Yes.
by Charmaine.
Charmaine's bold. Yes.
Yeah.
What was it like? Like,
Yo,
did you know when you made the song? Oh, this is it. This is one of those ones.
Well, I made the beat with Michael Lance.
Okay.
We were working on a lot of music at the time, and it was a very simple. It was like a Nord lead synthesizer. It was like a square. It was like the most simple
Yeah,
sound.
you're giving
ever.
your tricks, man. Like,
Oh yeah, it's just that it's that easy. But it was really
Talk
like
that
that.
shit.
It was like beep boop,
yeah.
beep boop, and then that 808 just hitting. I think it was like from there we knew it was like it doesn't have to be more complicated than
You
that.
know which one I should have hit him with instead?
Me bad.
'Cause I know you like that one too.
You guys are crazy with those sounds, bro.
Yeah, you're not getting this anywhere else.
nah.
We turned it into a battle, so we kind of go back and forth with it.
You change them, like
Yeah, we swap
Yeah,
them
yeah,
up, but there's
yeah.
certain
Once
ones
in
that
a
are there's,
while.
yeah, kind of
Yeah,
some of them
once in a
are
while.
keepers, but it adds a little bit of wit and humor to
the
to
winner
it.
Gagnon is still like in my head. Bro.
Winner.
Yeah,
Gagnon.
But you haven't seen anything yet, trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, trust
I'm
me.
here for it. But yeah, I think that's one of those that song specifically is a testament to songwriting because the
Yeah.
beat is like just dumb simple.
Yeah.
Like we snuck in like a little dolphin sound in there. It's like way in the back as a percussion. It's fun, but I think it was really like Charmaine, you know what I'm saying? Runway the Catwalker, incredible writer, incredible artist.
Mhm.
Michael Lance and your boy. And just like the energy in the room, like it was a real safe space. Everyone's like doing takes, throwing ideas, throwing lines, weighing the lines. Like I think it's like fostering.
Is that really what it's? Not to cut you off, but
Sure.
like we see these type of things in stories when they're told. Like it's just, we hear them. They're just in the studio. People start throwing stuff out there. Is it really just that?
I don't know, man. It's like in my experience, it's always like as a producer, like you try and create a space where like ego gets checked and it's like best idea wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that the song is the leading the
Yeah,
guy.
that's what matters. I
Yeah,
know.
the thing that
I think the frequency, once it's channeled and everyone's on that same
page.
wavelength,
Yeah.
it's gonna hit something special.
trust. And sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes it'll be a whole day, like a
For
whole
sure.
shift of like you're in the sofa, I'm over there, artist is mumbling into the mic, someone's on the computer like trying to like create new effects, and it'll be like
It's because someone's there with that dark energy, but they're not exposing it.
maybe
Like they had a bad day, you know, they got in a fight with their ex or whatever, and like they're coming in with that,
Maybe,
but you don't
but-
know that.
Yo, literally,
So you have to like channel it out.
some of
slowly.
some of those great sessions, or some of those like extra juicy, like super duper ratchet songs that are like empowering
yeah, it comes
came
the same
from that
thing.
kind of
Came from the
energy.
same
I
thing.
feel, yeah. It's just
yeah.
it's about like
I got
maybe
you.
to your point, like
How do you channel it?
How do you channel it? Like
Yeah.
where do you take it? Is it going to be productive?
Yeah.
Like I think part of my job is like therapy. To be honest, It's
What
like,
about that?
If you can't respect
Sorry, not even that one. I want to give you this one.
Let's go fly a kite.
That marijuana influence. Any of that?
personally, no. But
No?
I get too distracted, man. Especially when I started working with like rappers,
Yeah.
and like the weed got way stronger. It's like, yeah, bro, yeah. I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like mad anxious or super like crazy high where I don't even know if the music is good,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, yo, you fucking with this? And they'll be like, yeah, bro. I got like a whole 16. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. You know, but in my head, I'm like, I had no idea. You know, I'm like throwing like car horns in there. It's like it's out of pocket.
That's a nice button.
Yeah.
Get a car
Yeah,
horn
yeah.
going.
Yeah, but I think because of the fact that you're producing and engineering, like I got to keep my
yeah,
blinkers on and my
Yeah, yeah.
ears open and maybe catch a little bit of a vibe at some point. But if I do, it's like when we're like on autopilot now.
Do you find that the artists are mostly in there drinking and smoking though?
No,
Yeah.
no. To be honest, it depends on the artist. It depends on the music.
Mm.
But I think the best songs I've written or were collaboratively written
Yeah.
have been during the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
eh?
Interesting.
Have been during the day. Have been in a place of lucidity, and again, I can only speak from my limited experience as like a young songwriter and producer and whatever. But it's like it's always been from a place of like what are we like? It's like discovery. It's open. The sun is out. Like, you know, nighttime sessions have a different vibe, but I found them less objectively good. Like the music came out, like it sounded like everyone was kind of high and drunk, you know, and not in like the best way, you know, unless everyone was like super dialed in, which I think like, I don't know, man. I work out, I eat my food in the morning, I like get my sun exposure, and I think like having that sort of energy is like, it's more conducive, it's more objective, it's more intentional.
Are you doing that consistently? You're saying that those times work better for you consistently? Like
consistently, yeah. Sometimes like if it hits like in the middle of the night, I'll make a beat or whatever.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's like if I work out, if I do like my like hard whatever weightlifting, if I go do my cardio, if I have my breakfast and I'm well fed, then by the time I get to the studio, my energy is like clean, clear, I'm focused. There's no anxiety, there's no jitters, there's no sort of it's like I'm strong. And then I communicate that to the artists I work with, because in one way or another, they look to me for support and for like structure. You know, there's like a bit of a coaching thing. So it's like, if I'm clean and fresh, then like they feel like if they want to smoke, if they want to drink, they totally can. But 9 times out of 10, they'll just be like, we'll be writing, you know?
Yeah. My boy Quincy has his time frame when he does stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. We were vaguely talking about that before too, where he's like, he's into the psychology of it a lot, and like alpha waves, theta waves, beta waves. Like he wants to know when someone is closest to that creativity state, and he purposely wants it to run later in the night, which I thought like, wow, this is crazy. But he's actually researching this. He's learning about it. He's like a real student.
If anyone can speak on it, you know?
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, for sure. I'm not trying to have a, like, you know, like a meme here where it's like, you know, Mr. Juno versus Quincy.
Nah. Come on.
But what I mean is like, I guess whatever works for the person that's doing it. But if that works, if you're doing it consistently, I mean, that's...
Well, something I read recently is in Rick Rubin's book, Creative Act, A Way of Being, is that you got to try everything, you know? And I'm admittedly I'm very comfortable in this routine because I've found consistency in it. Like it's something that I can replicate. It's a formula that I have in my back pocket. But I think, to your point, I think I mix better when I'm like half asleep almost.
I don't want to. I didn't want to interrupt, but I kind of almost had to. Yo, are you guys messing around with me? Like he's trying to outbook me, you're trying to outjoke me. Why do you guys stick to your lanes? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's the pink polo, bro. It's that big Kanye energy, bro.
This guy's throwing out bucks.
We're trying to keep up. We're trying to keep up.
This guy's trying to get me kicked off the show here. What am I gonna do if I don't got no bucks?
But yeah, it's interesting. I think that it's something that I want to experiment with more. Like I'm feeling it just in the conversation. I'm like, yo, maybe we should try and flip it on its head, you know?
Yeah.
Just cause that's like healthy to do.
Try it, learn it, see if it works for you. Not everything's going to work for everyone else, you know?
Yep.
So at the very minimum, you feel it out for yourself, trial and error.
Yep.
Yeah. All
right. Well, we got some advertising to do. So I guess we'll take a quick break and come back with some more of this great SUP.
Walk through, couple places that I ain't supposed to. Off and make a step or you be local. Rich and then we dip out this blow woes for sure, yo. Roll a man's eyes red, smoking PZ. Fresh gong, not the blanc, I'm feeling greasy. Pass it through like the game on easy. Niggas say they feel like Mike, but it's the Levy.
Shout out the segment sponsor, First King Clothing. Bro SB, he has some shit dropping. I'm kind of a fan. There's a gray shirt with a gold on it. I'm like, bro, I need one of those joints. When you see him, make sure he hooks you up. But
I'm trying to get in this next advertisement. Yo, let me get in the video.
Shout out First King Clothing, wherever they're at. Go find them on the internet. Google them, Instagram, Twitter. Go to the website, purchase some merch right now.
Let me know when the next pop-up shop opens, man.
Anyways, SB, what's up?
Have you guys been listening to some of these tracks that they've used AI?
I think you need to reintroduce our guest here, brother.
We got to do that again?
I don't know. Maybe they just tapped in. Maybe they fast-forwarded through the whole first part.
Okay. So I'm about to
big up this thing again, yo.
Only going up this year.
David Ariza is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
2022
And-
rap single of the year,
There we
Juno
go.
award winner.
Like we're trying to get this AKA going, AKA Mr. Juno. That's gonna be trending. That's the hashtag. That's the hashtag right there. But what I was gonna say is, have you guys heard that track where New York State of Mind, but instead of Nas, they got Biggie on it?
Oh, the AI shit.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I never heard I never heard that, but I heard some other Biggie shit, and I'm like, yeah, what are you guys doing?
Rest in peace, Biggie. I still like it with Nas. A lot of people are saying like, oh, Biggie sounds better on it. I don't know. That's not how I felt about it.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, I never heard what that people
the,
like
the,
not.
no, the New York State of Mind with the Biggie. I
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
that.
It's pretty trippy, man. It's so accurate where it's like,
eh?
yeah. Like it's becoming a thing. But where I'm taking this whole conversation is, how do you feel that's gonna, disturb this whole thing that's going on right now?
Especially in the music industry,
Right?
man.
It's good. I think it's gonna blow up even more than just music at this point.
Yo, AI, make me a trap beat with so and so.
Big
Blah,
question.
like, that's it.
Yo, honestly,
Go with the voice part first, because I'm interested to hear that from an insider. Like, how do you feel that
voice
anyone's
part,
voice?
I
could-
think it's like I have a issue sometimes with posthumous releases, because I think a lot of them are just kind of put together by like whoever happens to have the stems or the rights to the stems. So it's like, if the artist doesn't have any input on like if something comes out or not, then I think it can be very disrespectful, especially to somebody who's deceased. And like, man, some of them are just so mid. Like it's just such a bad way to go, almost like in terms of a catalog.
Yeah.
I think the AI voice personally is like super cool. Like it's something that like I would
Whoever thought we never thought we'd get here in real life,
bro. Like
I don't know about that. Like I thought we'd get here. I'm
I never thought about
movies?
it. I can't even say I
was gonna, because the movie
Jetsons, man. Like
nah, these guys are the Jetsons. The movie I always think about when I think about that 2049 type stuff.
Yeah,
it's Demolition Man.
Okay.
Yeah. Every time. That is the movie that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
And like with Teslas out here the way they are.
Dredd or I Am Robot, or what was that? I Robot. All that stuff. I feel like we're behind. We should be so much further.
You think
right now.
so?
I feel that way at times.
I feel like low key all of it exists, but it's just like the
For sure.
implementation. Like it's not. I don't know. What I was trying to get at is like I think it's like it's amazing, but I think it's like I don't know. You're missing like the point, which to me is the song. Like the songwriting and like the person who was there for it.
I think it's interesting where are the royalties now? So let's just say you put out a track with Biggie's voice on it. Someone writes it. Jay writes it. Let's just say, right? Who owns that voice? Well, you get what I'm saying though?
Pop songwriting is pretty much that. Like you'll have pull up any Kanye song.
Yeah.
Recently, or like any Rihanna song in the last like I don't know how many years, and like Beyonce, like look up the last album, like it'll be like 14 people on a track, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
10 more than the producers, like it and like everyone's adding like a little thing to make it like the perfect song. And I'm not saying that Beyonce doesn't sing her own words or Rihanna or Kanye, but it's like there's so many people working on it that there is already like a bit of like manufacturing and like somebody just kind of performing the song. Where I like think it's important to make the distinction is those are human beings where like they have families to feed and they have like a gift and they've worked on it and stuff. It's like
it's like a collaborative effort to get this one product out, even though like to your example before, this might be the face of it, but there's at least 10 people behind it.
For sure.
Like if you're sitting at an Avengers movie and you're waiting for that last clip at the end and you see everybody's coming down in the credits, right? And then finally get that clip, but there's like a whole million people and they got like 40 different camera people, like you know what I mean, like different camera teams and shit. It's like I get excited when I see the Indian names. Like whenever I see Singh, I'm like, oh shit, the boy made it.
Winner, Ganyo.
Yeah, just the catering alone on like one of these movies.
But does this become like another revenue stream now? So like I don't know who, like does Diddy own Biggie's voice? Like I don't know if it's him or his mom or whoever, but like does that become a thing? Like does Fat Joe own Pun's thing, or is it the wife? Like
labels are suing. Like the labels are suing.
It's
major
crazy.
managers are suing because it's like I think like it's there's a big upending of like old structures, old ways of seeing an economy and like a currency exchange. And I think some of us I'm not trying to put myself in there, but like some people will like see themselves at odds with that and see themselves maybe losing more than winning. But I think as long as you stay flexible within that, like you will be able to sustain it. Where I always, whenever I've been asked about this recently, like, and in reflecting on my own creative practice, all I'm really doing is offering like a vibe, is creating a space where like you grab a guitar, you grab another, like a bass, and we did that the other day at my crib after on our last day of school. I had a couple drinks, went back. I'm like, let's just go to the studio.
Party like rock stars.
Yeah, we made a track. It's a good track, and like and just like that experience makes the music so much more meaningful than just like, for me, like having somebody like just send you a pack of beats and like, you know, it's like if you go and you try the snare and shit and like, it's like
off the record, on the record though, he was just fucking around and he made a dope beat. Then like
thank you.
10 minutes, maybe like 15 minutes. Like we're just sitting there fucking around, talking this shit, talking about The Handmaid's Tale.
Shout out The Handmaid's Tale.
Then all of a sudden this guy's like fucking putting shit together. Next guy's on the guitar. I'm like, what
shout out Luke on the guitar.
Yeah, man.
It was a good beat.
You fuck with Mac Miller at all?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So similar.
Yeah,
I was the stories that I would hear. It's like
back of my head.
You would just be at the house kicking it, chilling, whatever. Yeah. They're just vibing, having a conversation. All of a sudden, Mac's gonna get up and gonna go over to his setup and just start tapping one out. And then he's like, "Yo, I got it." And he'll go spit a verse, 2 verses, 3 verses, and it just
that's like a Jay thing too, though. Jay's he's not writing nothing.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there, fucking putting it all together in his head.
But what Mac would do is just literally have his friends over, just kicking it, chilling, and then out of that, you then create something.
It's magic, bro.
But it takes somebody to say, you know what, turn on the audio board.
Yeah,
they plug in the guitar.
Yeah, you gotta have it wired. So it has to be just ready to go.
Exactly.
And you gotta just be talking and like. Yo,
just
let's
start
record that.
Exactly.
What did you just say? Like, it'll be like, you already know, like, in talking and shit, you say some crazy stuff. You're like, yo, can you say it like this? And then you have a, like...
Shout out Nas. They were talking about his story, too. When he's creating Illmatic, he's got the whole fucking crew in the booth. Everybody's in the booth while he's fucking spitting. Like, that's wild.
Yo, give me one of those Nas's real quick.
Yeah, I was trying to get it in, but... Okay, there we go. I have to hit it a little hard. I got weak there.
Shout out Knots behind the scenes, making sure the cameras and the audio stuff's always set up, ready to go.
We look pretty.
I want to hit it in the Duke it though. I'm going to go back on you guys with the question though. Hadouken! So with
like that one not expecting that.
The way so outside of music for a moment, I could get anyone's voice now. Yeah, that causes a whole kind of way to frame people too. You could set someone up so heavy right now if you're in like a higher level.
I heard that perspective the other day, and I was like, "This is interesting."
Deepfakes.
Where'd you hear that?
We've had deepfakes for I don't know how long. Where it's like you get somebody like acting, and it's like Elon Musk saying crazy shit. Or
like, how are we gonna know it's really not the president calling for those nukes?
all of that.
It don't take much anymore, yo.
Man,
it really don't take much anymore.
Yeah. But even like, okay, so I say whatever I say, right? Let's just say I said something racial right now. Like no, I'm joking. And then whatever happens, but now I could be like, nah, that's fake. They just used my voice. Meanwhile, I really did it. You could use it the other way too.
But so what I heard
reality is becoming a bigger illusion every day, bro.
Imagine somebody committing a crime and then calling to the stations like, oh, it was me. I did it, confessing to a crime and using somebody's voice.
Man,
what?
Yep.
Yo, I don't know. I don't even know. Like,
it's a scary world now.
I don't want
to
think about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And here we are putting our voices all over the fucking internet.
Yeah, I know.
Excuse my French.
I feel like they're already taking our voices off of so many other things as it is right now.
Yeah. Do you ever get like fake calls? Like, these guys are trying to scam you, and
all the
like,
time.
My girl was telling me the other day, she's like,
those air duct cleaners.
Don't say anything. They take your voice.
I was about to say it. I'm like, how do I pronounce it?
Come on, I pronounce it. That's another one of his favorites.
Yeah, it is.
It's a Jamaican thing. It's a reggae song. You fuck with reggae at all?
Not too much.
Are you serious?
I fuck with it, but I feel like I always say like as a DJ, I'm like the safest genre to play in Toronto is reggae, especially like later on in the night, like 2, 3 in the morning. Like you could rock till like 7.
So what's your favorite genre of music? Like
man, that's hard.
If you could only listen to one genre for the rest of your life, what would it be? Mine is reggae.
Like reggae's cool. In that way. I feel like something like maybe jazz, bro. Like something. Yeah, because I feel like we're talking
Quincy
full,
Jones stuff.
Full spectrum jazz. Yeah, because there's so much color and like it's like I won't get bored, but I will get bored.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need 808s and stuff occasionally. I like electronic music a lot too, like dance
funny
music.
I was just talking to a friend earlier today. and she was saying that she had left music running in her house for the last 3 days, and it was jazz music. So she'll leave the house, and when she comes back home, the song, like the music's still playing.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I need to try that.
Yeah, I wonder what that does to the vibe.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
Sound?
cool.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of
The
sense.
second you walk through that door, whatever you're hearing in that moment.
Yeah. Yo, I don't mean to backtrack, but this was something really interesting related to that.
I kind of want to backtrack too. Whenever we backtrack, this is what we do.
Where he has everybody in the studio, and I saw like an older engineer, I don't know his name. It was just kind of one of these sound bites that you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the power of magnetic tape. So back in those days, Illmatic era, like old school hip hop era, like everything was recorded to tape.
Yeah.
And the tape picked up the vibe in the room.
Yeah.
So the reason why something like California Love feels like such a crazy party song every time you play it, it's not that the 808s are hitting, it's not that the drum mixing is harder, it's not that it's like they literally picked up the vibe and like put it into the record.
I love those type of stories.
That's like the Beatles. They'd have a whole orchestra in there while they're recording. So a lot of those people of that generation would do that whole thing where everything is live.
Even Havoc. When I heard Havoc explaining how he created some of those beats, literally going to the stove and like getting the sound effects and shit, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's some
Pots and
like,
pans.
Like you guys are in it.
Yeah.
And they talk so much about Dr. Dre, how he's able to create a sound.
Yeah.
Like imagine creating a sound, like a sound effect.
I'm not there yet, man. That shit is crazy. Like I get not overwhelmed, but I'm just like, it's like there's so much to learn, bro.
Yeah.
Like and to hear and to try and
levels to
replicate. There's super level. Yeah, Dr. Dre level is like, man, that's a producer's producer.
Yeah.
Producer.
But going back to the whole Quincy Jones thing, he talks about exactly that. He's given up examples of like Albert Einstein. Going back to that, the reason of entering like the later theta states or alpha states waves, he's going into like explaining certain people where they're just thinking about that and it's out of nowhere because you're just so relaxed, you're able to tap into that creativity. I think when you're obsessed with it, not just consciously but even subconsciously, that stuff is going to start triggering no matter what you do, you know? So sleep is huge, but that state, you know what I mean? Like there's so many people that actually end up creating so much more when they're sleeping.
You know Salvador Dali? Like he's a revered painter, surrealist painter from Spain. You ever seen a painting of like melting clocks?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like some trippy shit. He would do that, or like
that vibe already sounds good. Melting clocks, I love it.
Yo, bro, it's crazy. His work is impeccable, but like he would fall asleep holding keys. Like he would let himself fall asleep holding keys, and then the keys would drop out of his hand.
It's crazy.
Wake up, the idea would be in his head, and he would go to paint.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think lots of people do that, bro. Edison, I think, used to do that kind of thing. Or Tesla.
Yeah.
Like they would fall asleep.
Quincy's he's saying the same thing. He's like, I would sometimes be falling asleep writing, and I would fall asleep writing. I'd wake up, I'd be like, oh my God, I already wrote 12 pages. I didn't even know about that. I think it's real. Like it's a real thing where you could tap into something greater than yourself. You know, that's when it's like real source.
They're more sensitive.
Yeah.
More open.
Yeah. Paintings.
Let's go fly a kite.
What you said a while ago too is just setting the vibe.
Mm.
And I think that is something that is very crucial because it's all about the vibe at the end of the day. So I want to big up this brand, Kited. We spoke a little bit about it during the break,
Kited.
but you want to talk about setting the vibe? It's just a vibe all in itself. Website coming real soon. Some new merchandise. And one of the things we're working on is launching some playlists. And
sick.
music is always the vibe, right?
For sure, yeah.
So it's like, think of a vibe, not so much an artist or a genre, just a vibe.
Only going up this year.
There we go.
I got some more questions for you though.
Okay.
You also spoke about being versatile.
Yes.
And I took a listen to something.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was an Inner Space mix.
Oh shit.
HSR Inner Space.
You went all the way to the SoundCloud DJ Flex.
Tell me about that part.
Yeah, I mean, yo,
you got
Headspace,
that kind of talent too, huh?
Headspace rotates. My mentor, my music mentor, DJ Eloquence. I started out musically in this after school program called Youth for Change, where I met Eloquence and I learned how to DJ, and I think that was like my first step prior to production, and that's kind of her thing. Like Headspace rotates is like her mentees and her sort of like collaborative space where like she would bring in other like mentors and host workshops and host space too. Like I feel like she really held us down during the pandemic when like everyone was doing Zoom parties.
Yeah.
Like we throw like the craziest Zoom parties.
Yeah,
And just vibe. Yeah, it was like that uplifting vibe.
Okay.
You know? But yeah, that's a DJ. That's one of the last DJ mix I made because like I've been just focusing on producing and engineering. And
You know, it gave me that Solange, Theophilus London kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, yo, like I haven't listened to some of this in a minute, but it had me, like a zone.
Yeah. I really do fuck with Solange and Theophilus London. Actually.
Yeah. I haven't listened. Has he released anything recently?
He's been releasing stuff. I feel like he's writing a lot. He's kind of like I see him as like a vibes vibe guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like a vibey artist that like it's like you almost like other artists want like his sauce, you know? Like they want like his style and like they want like that kind of thing. But I feel like he's still doing his thing for sure. Yeah.
Going Overseas, a song that he had a few years ago. Yeah. That was like I used to bump that regular.
Yeah, he had this crazy. There was a remix of his song that like it was like one of his first big ones in 2014.
Yeah,
2015. I can't remember it.
Big fan of his. I haven't. I really gotta try to take in some more of his stuff.
Yeah,
you look like you're over there percolating.
I was coming up with a quick question that I was like trying to remember what it was, but I'm like, oh, whatever, fuck, it'll come up on its own.
You got it or no?
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
I mean, with that said, we could always just take another quick break.
I'll throw one at you guys outside of it, though. Something that I've been thinking about, something that really stood out to me in the book, right? Again, he talks about this one moment where him and his brother are breaking into places. So they didn't have anything going on. This is before the music. They were just breaking into, and like in this particular example, I think he's in like some sort of pastry shop where he's like getting cakes or pies or something like that, right? They're walking in and he sees a piano and he's like, I saw this piano for the first time in my life and I was just drawn to it. He's like, I was drawn to it. I had to see what it was, like how to play it, whatever. He's like, I left the room, but I went back to just look at it one more time. Then he talks about how he kept breaking into that place to like start playing the piano. So this is where his whole thing started, so to speak, right? Like where he really got into it. And I think he's only like, he's young, bro. Like he's not even a teenager at that point. Is there anything that you feel like that towards in terms of music? Is there anything where you're like,
I mean,
or a moment that stands out like that?
My mother, you know, man, there's so much I could say about that. Like on my mom's side,
say it, please, say it.
Yeah, my whole family is musical. My grandpa on my mom's side was the band director for our hometown.
Wow,
this place called Miranda.
Shout them out again.
Miranda.
Only going down.
Yeah, and he was the band director. He played sax. He played lots of.
Your grandfather, you're saying, right?
Grandfather,
nice,
grandfather.
Nice.
So I feel like music was always. It was always a party. All my aunts, uncles are singing. There's accordions. There's things happening. My dad is very musical as well.
I think sometimes that's just where it comes from,
bro.
It's just if it was already part of your experience, you're naturally gonna get intertwined, and you're just gonna become good at it. And it's just up to you whether you really tap in and take it somewhere,
exactly,
or you just mess around with it.
Exactly.
The best example I want to give to that is Steph Curry.
Yeah,
Steph Curry went to the basketball court every single day with his dad and shot all over that basketball court from all angles, everywhere.
Yeah.
For him to be doing what he's doing now, it only makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all muscle memory. The more you do something, the more natural it becomes. Muscle memory. That guy's throwing up shots from the bleachers.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
And he's knocking them down.
Bathroom, texting.
Like it's crazy.
And not even like a one-off. Like that's his like warm-up, bro. Like,
but people don't think that far into it. Like imagine he's been doing that since he was able to walk and bounce a basketball.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes to develop that kind of a talent.
It's the consistency, it's the environment. It's also like, I feel like beyond that though is like tapping it. For example, like my sister has one of the best voices and ears ever. She has like, if I could sing like her, if I could hear music like her, I would be further along.
Yeah,
she has arguably maybe more talent than I do, but it's like I was in grade 7 and I'm like I swore I was gonna be a rock star. Guitar.
There we go.
It was like I feel like I always had that. I think it's aligned with my purpose, and perspective. And I tried to stray from it many times, but life has always gently pushed me back into a musical space. And I think I'm very fortunate, very humbled to say that like it's not me. Like a lot of times it's really just like everything around me just like.
And trust me, that part.
God did.
Super facts. It's the humbleness, and I think it's like we're over here bigging up your thing because I told you it's not every day you walk and run into a Juno award winner. It's like you won Canada's top music award. It's something to big up your chest a little bit about. You don't have to walk in every room and be like, I'm a Juno award winner.
Yo, I'll tell you
when you're around us, we're gonna big up your thing because like
this is his humility that I can speak to, right? Yeah. I didn't know anything about him as far as that's concerned. We're just having a regular conversation about books. I'm like, hey, I'm reading this today and you should read this and whatever, right? Having a regular conversation about whatever's going on. He magically slips in, oh yeah, and like, that's how I won the Juno. I'm like, wait, whoa. What? I'm like, you won a Juno? And then he's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, this guy's carrying a Juno in his back pocket and he just throws it in so casually. Like he didn't bring it up super like humble with the whole thing, man. And that I feel like speaks even more to it. Cause it's like you're the gratitude for it. You're grateful for it.
I just think it's a miracle, bro. I say this all the time. Anyone who's around, like, and we're making music, I'm like, it's a miracle when you leave with a song, bro. Like, it's like that everyone was on the same page. That, like, it's objectively good. You play it and it's a vibe. Like it's honestly like something else is at work.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this because within that category, you were up against some pretty big names at the same time too. Like Pressa was in there.
Yes.
Northside Benji was in there.
Yes.
Like those are some names coming out of Toronto. So
big names.
How did it? Like, do you listen to those guys?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I would say I was DJing a wedding at the time. I was playing like K-pop at the time. I was literally in like for some reason I thought the awards were the next day.
And you really are versatile, eh?
K-pop.
Shout out K-pop. K-pop is sick. K-pop is the whole wave. But my production partner is like, yo, are you watching? And I'm just like, I'm like a little wavy. I'm trying to keep the party. It's at the Fairmont. Yeah. So it's like a bigger space and like, it's a stressful situation in terms of like wedding DJ vibes. Yeah. And I found out everyone started congratulating me. And I'm just like, bro, this is like, it's like one of the happiest moments of my life, And like, again, like, I think it's just God, bro. Like, there's no other way that like we could have, held up in that category with so many incredible artists, incredible songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, there's something about the vibe and that space and the talent, like my other co-writers and artists. Yeah,
I think Northside Benji too. I think he slept on a bit as one of like Toronto rappers. Northside Benji,
he's a rapper.
Yeah, he's a rapper. Northside Benji can spit.
And just seeing the whole thing too, like his aesthetic, the way he shoots his videos, like his whole growth as an artist too. I'm like,
he's still like my favorite though.
Only going up this.
I see you.
Big of lazy jaw every time, yo.
Yeah.
I think I got a couple more, but I think we'll take another quick break. SB likes to drink his water, so he might need to hit the washroom real quick. But
this guy's putting it on me.
We'll come back with some more Speak Your Perspective.
Let's do it.
If you're in the GTA and need your car detailed, visit Speckless Pro Auto Detailing. They specialize in both exterior and interior cleaning, including headlight restoration and salt stain removal. Book online at www.specklessprodetailing.com or call 416-262-0702. Don't accept anything less. Visit Speckless. This is my all-time favorite rapper out of Toronto.
Really? Since when?
He and I used to go to school together because he's from around the way.
Say words since those days.
Want to hear something even better? His parents know my mom. They went to school together.
Oh, wow. Bro.
That's how deep our run goes. We have family ties.
That's wild.
So wherever he's at, I big him up.
For sure.
And on top of that, he could fucking spit.
Facts, yeah.
Like spit. I'll give you a little bit for a quick second.
Do it for the people while you stay broke. Done, no.
You know what I would like to do? I shall wait until the song's done.
No, we're good.
I want to be like one of those guys that gets a little skit in the song, like a mad rapper.
Yeah,
thing.
me too.
Yo,
Funny enough, I was listening to a lot of Cameron this week, and Cameron is always with the skits.
Yeah, that was a skit era. It was like
yeah,
6 skits
man,
in an album.
like Cameron, like, skits galore. I'm like, yo, I could probably produce some funny skits.
you get what I'm saying?
For somebody's shit right now.
Or like even like a voice message, like the Prodigy ones or the Mobb Deep ones, where like someone's calling back.
2023.
Whatever artists you work with next, and they want to add skits to their shit, tell them to link us over here.
Yeah, facts.
We'll do some really good skits.
And speaking of Cameron,
there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
Big up body ammo. Protect yourself from the enemies. And there's plenty of them out there because there's a war going on outside. Go get yourself some body ammo. Protect your mind, body, spirit, and soul. SB.
You are going to be good with the skits still. Shit.
What's up? So we were talking about the vibe. And just being able to create the space. Yeah. And during the break, we'll catch you guys up.
Yeah.
Seemed like everybody has something to say about the vibe. That's what happened there.
So I'd asked David if he follows Charlamagne at all.
Yeah.
David, aka Mr. Juno.
2022 rap single of the year. Big him up. Go find him on the internet.
Yo.
Go find him on Instagram. Shout out your page real quick.
Yeah, please do that.
We'll throw the key in. I know, but we didn't even do that.
The channels.
Yeah, Inner Peace,
Plug
Outer
everything.
Space. You already know that's it. Just on Instagram.
Say it one more time.
Inner Peace, Outer Space.
On Instagram. Go find him.
Yeah, find me. I'll find you.
There we go.
Only going up this year.
But yeah, so I had mentioned a quote of Charlamagne that he had said on an episode of a podcast, my day one. It's called #Men2. It's a Brilliant Idiots episode from 2018. Changed my life. But he said, I don't care to go anywhere for the vibe. I want to be the vibe.
Yeah.
And once you're able to create the vibe and that space, referencing the Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
So once you understand that part, Mac Miller again, you create the space and the magic will happen. So you had agreed when I said that, when I made that point, that you want to be the vibe.
I remember my friend and producer, artist, DJ, rapper, friggin' everything, Junior T, told me pretty early on, he illustrated vibes as like chords, you know? And like you can play a chord and then you can play some keys that are out of key and like they just don't mesh. And I think at the time I was trying to be in key with other people who were not my key. And I think it's like it really helped me understand like my worth and value in a room, and just knowing that like you gotta do less, you know? Just be you, be the light if that's who you are. Like just be what it is, whatever that is, your truest self, and then like everything else will like play in key with you, and then you'll have like a more harmonious experience. You know? That's vibrations, vibes, right? Like
that is very true.
They're contagious, man. They're contagious too. If you step into a room knowing what you're capable of, knowing what your energy is capable of, you could change that whole thing around for anybody.
But how do you know?
How do you know what your vibe is? Or
mentors.
Like, how do you know you carry that kind of energy?
Mentors.
I think when you
develop it, and then once you walk into enough rooms, mentors.
Yo, I had so many mentors tell me like, I was like,
I like that you said that actually,
bro.
So do I.
I was like,
so do I.
I was like, Ricky, I already shouted him out, but Ricky at the Remix Project, I was like trying to make harder beats and shit. Like I was using I'm like trying to do different things, trying to keep up with my peers. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to like learn, and he's like, yo, bro, like that's not even your strongest. Like the thing that you offer is that everyone feels comfortable around you, and like that's a superpower. Like the fact that you can make everyone feel comfortable. And I'm like, yeah, but like, yo, my 808s, you know, like,
my 808s.
You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, cool, bro. But then like as I started doing sessions and shit, I'm like, I realized, you know, another mentor was like, you don't even realize like you don't even see your worth and your value just being who you are. It's like you step into a room, you sit down, and everyone is like, it's like neutral ground, like so-and-so from here, so-and-so who's like a folk guitarist, so-and-so from like the hood, so and so who's like just coming into vibe.
I want to mess with that guy's ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it all together and then
Yeah.
you create a new recipe.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's like if I didn't have mentors to affirm me at my lowest points where I didn't see that as a strong suit, now I can like whatever, you know what I'm saying, make the beat, but it's like that aspect of your vibe and shit is like that's what's gonna determine your longevity and your just like, man, how much fun you have with it too, you know, like where you're like the spaces you're in and how you shine in those spaces and make others shine.
You're hitting it so on the nail because I feel
on the head.
Whatever. Hitting it so. What did I just say?
You're hitting it on the nail.
You're hitting on the nail.
The nail on the head.
Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. Anyways, we understood what you meant. I decided. I just wanted to mess with you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Not
to interrupt you, but but what I was gonna say is
did that to me.
To your point, especially when you're being developed, when you're, starting to harness what you can be, it is so important to have that right coach, to have that right mentor, especially if you don't have it in the form of a parent or a sibling or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's important for them to be able to point out what they see in you, not in this very moment, but to like what it could become if you really work into it. And I feel like a lot of greatness comes from that exact moment. Anybody that is anything, they all owe it to those people that they met at the time that they met them, whether it be the Kobe's, the Jordans, the Tiger Woods, like whoever, you know what I mean? Like there's somebody that believed in them a little bit more than they did to get them to that next level. And same thing to Quincy Jones's point, man. He goes, there's times where he felt like there was nothing. He didn't know anything. He didn't know how to do it, but he knew he wanted to do it. So he's one of his mentors was Count Basie, right? Yeah. And then he talks about how he made enough of an impression for him to remember us. Kind of like some of the stuff that we're doing at the Black Vet podcast. Just shout us out real quick there. Between the story. But he's basically out there saying some stuff. Going up this year. And he's taking in what the criticism is and what he needs to work on. And then within that, he's talking to the saxophone player, which was his real mentor. I forget his name off the top right now. Tyler something. Correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. But he wanted to learn how to play the sax better. And he just goes, I just had to ask him. But when he was working, as in his mentor, he'd be at school. And then when he's sleeping, this guy's at work or whatever. Like their arrangements never worked. And he's like, man, I would be nothing without these people. But I threw out an idea to him. Hey, what if I wake up really early before school and I come see you for a couple of hours? He went there 30 days straight before school. This guy could have been sleeping. Instead of sleeping, he decided to teach this kid. Made his game to a whole nother level and gave him that assurance. Like, yo, you're going to become something. He's like, you really think so? He's like, I know so. That level of confidence, when someone puts that into you, whatever age, whatever discipline, whatever experience level, you can't change that. So like that's why I love that you said facts. I love that you said mentors, because it just brought that up right away. Because I deal with confidence in a lot of different ways. I could be super confident in this thing right here and then not have it over here. But until you start really becoming the vibe, and I when you're like, how do you know that? I feel like repetition. When you start knowing you bring that energy and you're able to go somewhere, and when you leave that place, people are kind of like leaving with a smile on their face, and you know you could replicate that exact energy over and over again. Man, there's nothing like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to your point, I'm giving them an experience.
Yes, exactly.
You got people coming back for that, right? There's something more than just the experiences, that vibe. Well, it's another word. You can say it's synonym, but like I get that.
It's like, when you make a cake, I don't know if you guys
did I look good? Did I look good in that for sure? Yeah.
You look great. You know what I'm saying?
See how I made you guys compliment me there, guys? There. That was a vibe.
You have become the vibe.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
You become more attached to the things that you spend time on and you develop and you have fun making, and I think it's like that's like every song, knock on wood, that I've worked on recently is coming out. All the artists that I worked with, they're like, I can't imagine not ever putting this song out because it just means that much to me. I'm like, this is another side of who I am. This is another experience that I have to offer. Like I was thinking in this term, genre, drums, texture, references, and now it's like we're over here, and I think it's like, yeah, man, be the vibe.
Trust me, man.
Some of
Only going up this year.
stuff that you gave me that little exclusive to on the right here, bro.
Them ones?
Yo,
That's how you have it, eh?
bro.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like, I'm not even saying this because he's here, but
So
it was
yesterday's price.
Yo,
Yesterday's price.
Yo.
Eh?
Now we got this. We got this.
Shout out
I don't even dance or nothing like that. He had me fucking moving. I'm like, oh shit, this shit is nice.
Yeah, eh?
You gotta play it for him after.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Shout out my brother Luap. We got a project coming in September called La Ofrenda, The Offering.
Only going up this year.
All the way up. Really, really honored to work with this guy. I feel like he helped me level up not only as a producer and artist, but like as a human being.
I love that.
Only going up this year.
That's it. That's what it is really about at the end of the day.
Trust.
That's
Trust
all
me.
that trust. Like,
I started doing jujitsu because of him.
yeah,
He'd come in and he'd be like, "Yo, did you start yet?" I'm like,
You never
You
talked
know
about
what,
this.
Chad?
I don't know this side.
Yeah.
I don't know this side. Let's hear this.
yeah, I know. 'Cause I did martial arts when I was younger too.
Used to beat up girls. Used to beat up some
Oh,
girls.
come on, man.
I had to drop it again. My bad. Yeah.
all the girls at my gym could like beat the shit out of me for sure. So
When I
many-
used to, I need to make that very clear because they'll take this stuff and run with it. I used to spar. There was a really good girl that I used to spar with, so I was one of the only ones that was able to like really get at her every so often.
Sure,
And I gave her a jab in her stomach one time, and it was one of those like it didn't need to be that hard.
Oh shit!
And it's a moment that I'll never forget it. I'll just never forget when it happened.
Oh, man, I love that he had to repeat
So
the
he
story.
just like he likes to get at me about it sometimes, but just some backstory.
yeah, I'm like again, like the girls in my gym could like.
Yep,
I see that.
That's a real thing, though.
Oh,
That's a
it
real
most definitely
thing.
is.
Yeah.
It
regardless-
most definitely
yeah,
is.
Regardless, I feel like it's always about the athlete. You guys follow UFC?
Hell yeah.
Amanda Nunes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like,
Only
brother,
going up this
That
year.
name I do know.
Amanda Nunes. Like,
She will beat up like
I-
90% of people.
I swear to God, no word of a lie. I was thinking about Amanda Nunes and like Zhang Weili and like Valentina Shevchenko just last night. I'm like,
What's her first name?
Amanda
No.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Valentina.
Yeah,
Valentina
Bullet.
is hot.
Yeah, she's like
You guys got to see those pictures. Anyway, so like, yeah, she's pretty, bro.
yeah, they're insane, and I think they're like, bro, like
Her whole family, talking about families, her whole family. So she's got a bunch of sisters. They're all world champions, including her mother.
eh?
Like they're
oh
all,
really?
yeah.
In
They're
MMA.
not in MMA. So some in Muay Thai, I think some in boxing, like throughout different combat sports.
Yeah.
That whole family, all like the daughters, the
Yeah.
females, they're all killers. Like if you want to roll up with somebody, I'd want to roll up with that crew. Like
I'm a fan, bro. She's a
Yeah.
dancer too. Like she'll always
She
like
kills a
she'll,
dance.
she'll do like some crazy like
Yeah.
like death knockout, and then
Yeah.
she'll do like a pirouette.
yeah.
A little
Yeah, eh?
She's a
ballerina
G.
pirouette.
I,
Yeah.
oh man,
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
I'd love to
I
hang
feel
out
like
with
I
her.
feel like the gender of the athlete doesn't really matter. Like I feel like I could put Shevchenko against like some of the guys in like the division, and like
Yeah.
she fucks some shit up. Amanda Nunes on the BJJ.
I respectfully disagree, but I get where you're
I
going
don't
with
know.
it. I get where you're going with
I
it.
don't know, maybe not the champs, but I feel like, bro, like honestly, like there was a streak. Amanda Nunes was just eating. She was eating 2 divisions. She
Yeah.
was jumping between weights.
Yeah, the way
And-
she killed Cyborg.
Bro, like it's like what is like? There's nothing.
Yeah, you
left.
start fucking with some more UFC, man.
Yeah,
Like,
Yo, it's exciting, man.
Yeah.
They create like stories, you know. They get you with the music.
I never used to be able to deal with the blood and the gore, like the broken
Yeah,
arms and all.
yeah.
That is when I can't do it.
It-
But I'm starting.
There's
I can do
less of
boxing.
that.
I can do boxing all day.
yeah,
But now I'm getting into more of the UFC because of this guy.
yeah.
So
Boxing is technically more dangerous
Yeah.
because they're always going for the head.
yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like
You-
the impact, whereas like submissions and stuff are.
Even the gloves. So
Yeah.
like the way that you have the gloves, then you have the gauze in there. When I'm punching you, the reason for that punch, I'm making your brain move around in your head.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm in combat sports, like or combat sports, UFC or MMA, if I'm
You're really
punching you,
trying
I'm
to
striking
get-
you,
yeah.
the fight's kind of over. I'm not giving you an 8 count and then saying, all right, go do it again and go
Yeah.
get your fucking head knocked out.
Yeah.
And then, all right, let's give you another 8 count. But, like, there's none of that. So
Yeah.
it's like the amount of deaths. And I get that MMA is a lot younger, but it's the amount of people that have died in boxing or had
Yeah.
serious injuries after the
Serious,
fact is crazy.
Serious.
Bro.
Yeah, you're always concussed. Like
Yeah.
whenever you
Yeah.
fight, like you always leave with a minor concussion.
That could also be said for like football. That could also be said for hockey.
Course,
like a lot of people think MMA is so barbaric, but it's actually safer than a lot of those other sports.
Yeah, they're very measured too. Like generally, it's like they know when to stop. And
super young too, so it's still developing. They'll probably come up with a whole bunch of things that are gonna make it a little bit safer. But
you're still doing it?
Yo, I started like last week.
Oh, you just
started.
Okay.
That's what you have. Okay, that makes more sense.
I literally just started.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck, bro?
I started a trial, and like, bro, it's like I've always been more into like boxing, kickboxing. Like I've always felt that more. But then when we got into the jiu-jitsu, it's like I was like 10 years old again, scrapping. Like it felt like I was scrapping as a kid when there was bigger mans on top of me, like trying to pick on me. And like I learned this one judo flip when I was 7 years old. And I use that in every fight, like just flip a man over.
What you fighting, bro?
Yo, man, you know what I'm saying?
They're not paying for those beats, and you just flip them, man.
Flip them over, chop, chop, chop.
Shit, my turntables. Ah.
Yeah,
Gone. Real bad man.
Yeah, but I think jiu-jitsu has that in spades, man. It's like you feel like there's like I can feel my strength and other people can feel my strength and they can't help but like respect it. Like I'm not sick. I don't know. I always like get on top and I got like full guard going, but I have no submissions. I don't know how to use the gi, but I've gassed like 3 mans out. Like they're just like they tap because they're tired.
Yeah. That's a real thing, especially with body weight. Like you have someone's weight on top of you for X amount of minutes. You're already tired off that, and you could be a cardio machine at that point.
Yep.
Ground cardio is completely different.
Oh, bro.
But since you're into books, I've bigged this one up before too. You gotta read Hicks and Gracie's book, bro.
Breath.
Yes,
I've heard of it.
Did we talk about this already?
No.
I feel like no.
Lou, the artist I just mentioned, like he brings it up all the time,
bro.
Yeah,
especially if you're taking BJJ right now. Yeah. He'll talk about the spiritual component.
Yeah,
he'll talk about breath work. He'll talk about your mentality. He'll even incorporate like just your mindset overall, being present in that fight.
Yeah,
and just being there. So we're talking vibes, being the vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a definition of
it's like
being
meditation.
the vibe.
He
takes it like that.
You're kind of no, but it's like you're literally there, and like this guy's like digging his shoulder into your face, but you're not gonna let up, you know? And like
exactly,
and like at some point it's like breathing, like you got to stop, chill, relax your muscles, and then like hip check, grab the arm, pull over, and then
he's talking about heart rates.
He's
talking about like how like if I know my heart rate's going up, he's like I'm purposely taking like shorter.
It's a different level of body training.
It's
a different level of body training.
It's ridiculous.
I can't even lie. I'm honored to be here today, but I am skipping jiu-jitsu for this.
Yeah. Now that you just said you started a week ago, don't worry. You got plenty of time for that shit.
Like you guys want to roll? Like
for me, it was all about the discipline.
Gloves.
Yeah,
because once you do those katas back to back in the routine of getting that stuff into your head, because the further along you get, you still have to remember the one that you did at your very beginner level, at your white belt. And you just have to go through all of them. Then when you start introducing instruments, it becomes a whole new ball game. But you always have to be able to remember, and it's the discipline. It's really the discipline.
I'm just going to tie everything in real quick here because it's so crazy, because we're talking hip-hop, we're talking Brazilian jiu-jitsu, we're talking all this stuff, right? So are you guys familiar with capoeira?
Yeah, for sure.
So Quincy Jones is talking about where music comes from.
Brazil,
So he's talking about breakdancing. And he's like, everyone, you talk to anybody, they go breakdancing comes from the Bronx. He's like, no, it doesn't. It comes from capoeira.
No way.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that. I could see it for sure.
I didn't know that.
I'll show you some stuff later. I saw it in real time.
Was it an event that they held in Brazil? Like an opening for it? He talks about that exact event.
I have pictures, I have videos, like you see that Michael Jackson video? I don't really care all of that. I saw all of that. And that's where it all comes from.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I tried capoeira. I was really overweight, like at least 60 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
And I was there with my bro, and he was like doing backflips, front flips. He's a gymnast. Yeah. And I'm like trying to do the jingla.
That's one ability I wish I had.
Oh, trust me.
You know, like you watch some of these TikToks where the guy does this flip and he's like walking upside down and like
it's all core. It's all core strength. It's like being able to like flex.
But imagine being born with it.
Yeah. Some people are super flexible with that stuff, man.
Everybody has their talent. You just gotta find it and tap into it.
I did what is it like the genetics test, like
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you if you have like the athlete
Ancestry.com, like one of those.
like
I
one
gotta
of
do
the,
that, yeah.
and I like 100% don't have it. It says something like if you try hard enough, you can accomplish anything.
It's all mental. It's all mental.
They say that. They're telling me that, but then my girl did it. My girl girl's been an athlete her entire life. Best of the best soccer, basketball, like track.
One of
everything.
those ones, eh?
And hers is like, yeah, you're 100% athlete. You have more capacity, better like VO2. Is it like the breath?
Yeah.
The breath, the resistance training and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't have that. Yeah, but it's whatever. Fuck,
Well,
like
it's me and you both, bro. I'm not doing none of that either. I can barely do a cartwheel.
You knock some mans out, though.
My cartwheels are sloppy too. Yeah, I can do that. Cartwheels are sloppy.
When's the last time you tried?
Not too long ago. A couple months ago, I tried. I'm like, yo, this is terrible. Like, ugh. Yeah.
yeah,
It's rough.
it is
I'm
rough.
weak.
Not
Yeah.
weak. Don't say that.
I know I shouldn't. Thank you for correcting me. I'm fucking strong. Watch my cartwheels.
I told you,
in
you
2
have to be
months.
strong. It's all just a matter of being strong mentally. That's all that matters. It's a
Yeah,
mental thing.
I think it's like what you were saying about the katas, just showing up and shit. Like this morning, I woke up, I'm gassed. Did jujitsu in the night. Did like a workout in the morning. Did a run the day before. Like it's like, but you just gotta go. And then when you show up and you start, it's like, okay, like I actually feel really good. And then by the time you're done, you feel like a monster. You're just like, I can do anything, you know?
That mind-body connection, man.
Yeah.
And then you add in that soul. What
Yeah.
what can you not do really at that point? But back to that ancestry.com. There's certain shit that you just can't fucking do. You're
Yeah,
not doing those flips.
They're telling you they're like avoid gluten, you know?
Yeah.
They tell you bare shit. They'll
Yeah.
tell you like if you're likely to have a heart attack or whatever, like just based on your genes.
Yeah, eh? That makes sense
Wow,
though.
yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
Levi's,
intense though.
crazy.
you know?
I don't know if I want to know that stuff though.
Oh, I want to know that stuff. I have it
do,
sitting
I
in my
guess,
car
yeah.
for so long too. I just haven't, not my car, but like actually it might be in my car. I want to do it. I just haven't handed it in. That was one of my things that I
Yeah.
purchased on last Black Friday sale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like half off one of those ancestry.com things. Ancestry.ca, whatever.
Anyways, 2 things before we go to break.
Give you that anyway.
Shout out that hat again, yo.
Yo, Sammy
Because when
Passion.
you walked in, I was like, I like that bucket, man.
Yo,
Like,
Sammy Passion gifted me this. He created this with his bare hands, and he gave it to me for my birthday like a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
And
right.
I think he's one of the
What are we?
greatest.
Taurus season right now. What are you? You're Taurus or
I'm an Aries.
Aries. Shout out all the Aries.
I'm a perfect Aries.
Perfect Aries.
Yeah, I'm peak
Only going down
Aries
this year.
energy all day, every day. Sammy, I think, is one of the most like prolific artists. He really embodies like the artistry of like being present, and like it's not clout based. It's not like it's energy. It's vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
He's doing it because he knows it fulfills him.
Is he gonna be heartbroken? Because you said you're gonna give me the hat though.
Yeah, impossible. Hey guys, we gotta probably wrestle for it.
Shout him out one more time so
Yeah.
they can find him on Instagram.
Yeah,
and wherever
Sammy
else.
Passion. I don't actually remember his Instagram.
But if you go in there, you type in Sammy Passion. I mean,
Yeah.
I was able to, so I found him.
You found Sammy
Yeah, I
Passion?
found him. Or
Yeah.
I hope it's the right Sammy
Look
Passion.
up Sammy Passion. Yeah,
I mean, the little bit that I was
Sam-
able to see, I was like, yeah, he's on one, so he's
Yes.
probably the same guy that created
yeah.
that. It's
Sammy
gotta be
got
him.
Passion. Is that it?
Something like that. You know what?
Whatever. Yeah, Sammy.
Trust me, if I found it, they'll find it.
yeah. He created that, and he just did like Smiley's recent artwork. Last single he just dropped. He does like lots of visual graphic design. He's a producer. I met him at the Remix Project as a
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah.
You know, and I think shout out the hat. I forgot I was wearing it, to be honest, but it's pretty crazy hat.
Shout out the Remix Project too, because a lot of Toronto artists, like a lot
Facts.
have passed through there. I think you said you ran into Pyrex over there. That's how you.
Yeah. Pyrex was I think alumni at the time. I'm around 13, so this was maybe like 2018, 17.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a space, man. There's resources, there's people, there's a whole business arm, there's a studio, there's like
Nice.
I felt like a real like competitive space, not in like a I'm better than you,
Yeah.
but in like a
I got something.
so-and-so-
You got something. We got
so and
something
so
together.
like you hear what so and so did, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like I gotta do some more. I gotta try
Yeah.
something like this, you know. And
That's what's missing, in my opinion. There
Yeah.
needs to be that big push where everybody's not like ego dropping, but like enough to be competitive, but there's some sort of unity and a push in the same direction.
yeah,
I feel like anytime like a unit came out of whatever state, whatever city,
yeah,
it wasn't just one person. Well, it was, but they had that following ready to, shoot off a clip. with a whole bunch of extra people that are ready to go. Like set this one up now, set this one up, set that one up. Here, I don't feel the same group structure is available. And you guys could correct me more. Like,
I mean, in my experience, like I've been very fortunate to collaborate well with the people I've been with, but there is a lot, I think, in terms of demographics.
Yeah.
Like I think because there isn't as many people in Toronto and Canada.
Yeah.
There's not enough like profit necessarily. Like there's not enough opportunity. There's not enough like if you sell merch in Atlanta, if you sell merch in LA, if you sell merch in New York.
Shout out Atlanta.
Shout out
Atlanta, you know, you're gonna generate way more profit, like just based on numbers. You know, they might not even really fuck with you, but if the shirt is cool, like someone will buy it.
Exactly.
You know? I think it's like that creates a lot of like hunger in Toronto, and I think it's a reason I feel personally why like there's so much incredible talent and artists that are coming out of the city, because everyone is just like it's like
you.
It's like X-Men, you know? Like it's like you're going to school, like the city is the school.
Yeah.
Like breaking through the city is the school, like, and then beyond that, like, bro, you go to LA, you go to any sessions, like Toronto producers, Toronto artists are like,
I could just see a lot more of the communities and the cultures coming together and coming out of Toronto. Because like now that hip hop's just everything, there's gonna be different sounds that are mixed with different sounds to give you this new, you know what I mean? Like this new sound overall. And it kind of going back to even the Dame conversation earlier, not today, but like in general, where he's talking about, okay, well, London's got that sound right now. And I guess you could even, this perfect segue into your trip, but but like they got that sound, they got that slang, they got a movement in a way, kind of like how ATL had it for a while. You know what I mean? I think Toronto's there almost, like it's about to really go off, and I think the fact that there's so many different melting pots contributing, or different cultures contributing to the melting pot, that,
and I think we as Torontonians don't realize how much value our perspective actually has.
I 100% agree with that,
because
that's bars.
We have similarities to other communities within the U.S.
Facts.
I can speak for myself, of Jamaican descent, born in Canada, but there's a whole pocket of Jamaicans in Miami. A big pocket of them in New York. There are similarities that I have with them, except I'm Canadian. But they can still understand some of my perspective and relate to the things that I like. Buddy, I can play right now. And they'll know what that is. You get what I mean? But there's a lot of stories that we have here. And examples I often use too, it's like all that big meat shit, that power shit, those stories that 50 selling. Yo, Toronto has some of that shit too.
100%.
Like, there's a whole lot of perspectives that I think are coming out now. Where people are sharing their stories, and we're getting to realize, like, oh shit, like there's a lot of
the story is just a little different. Like even like you guys familiar with the movie Rounders?
I think I've heard of it.
Like what's his fucking name? Matt
Rounders.
Damon.
No, I've never taken it in.
It's a whole poker thing where he's going around underground New York playing poker, whatever. That vibe is out here too. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole there's so many.
There is an underworld that exists in Canada.
There is so many.
There's definitely an underworld.
I was in Montreal last week.
Toronto.
I was in Montreal last week, and I was in Little Italy, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot the mob is here. It was like they called it like the Sixth Family or something. Like the Montreal people. I'm like, damn, bro. Like
it's real life.
We're keeping hood politics out of this.
Anyways, you got something?
Nah, I was just gonna be like, I was gonna reiterate everything. There's so many different stories and points of view from everything that is coming out of here. But I feel like it's a little bit more hush hush. But when people start actually writing about it, man, you know what I mean? Kim's Convenience. You get what I'm saying? Like,
for sure, man.
Anyways, the second thing that I want to get in before the break is some more of this lazy jaw.
Only going up this year.
Because before you go, I need you to make sure and go. You listen to some lazy.
For sure, yo, put me on, bro.
Shout out Lazy, wherever you're at. But we'll be back after this quick break. Nats has to get some advertising in. Shout out all our sponsors. Big up Body Ammo again.
Damn. It's cold.
This episode is brought to you by Body Ammo. More than a look, it's a lifestyle. Pick up some Body Ammo to protect your mind, body, and soul. Now, back to some more of SUP.
Only going up this year.
We got to get back into it before we just get lost in it. You know what I mean?
Fair,
Don't forget you were saying, but we're back. As we had something that he wanted to get to. So what's up? Just to get, we're talking
to get
about,
everybody into it.
Yeah, we started off just talking about the city, Toronto itself.
Yeah,
and how a lot of these artists have to leave to go to America to make a name for themselves, and then come back to Canada, and all of a sudden everybody wants to accept them. That's how the whole thing started, but you can make the point that you wanted to make, and then
I kind of lost my point, man. But it's all good. The conversation for me was really getting into the marketing and the branding of it, where how are you branding yourself? How are you marketing yourself? And you were saying, I'm like, yo, so what's the vibe? How do you make the vibe? And you're like, I don't know. And then you kind of started getting into explaining being yourself. And I feel like that has to be it.
Yeah.
The authenticity has to be it. So this, I caught it. Duke, all right, cool.
Hey.
So a big conversation. I keep bringing this up to all the other podcasters that I was speaking to at the Black Effect podcast, and even conversations that we're having. And people might remember me for this because I kept saying this. I'm like, isn't it crazy to think that authenticity is in right now?
Mm-hmm.
Take that in.
Yeah.
Like it's in to be yourself.
Yeah. Being vulnerable. Being yourself.
That's wild.
Being the person that you are in front of the mirror, in front of the world.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild. And then when you really look at that question, right, and you ask yourself, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bigger, like who are you?
Exactly.
But to the point of all this.
This guy's a Juno Award winner.
You get what I'm saying?
Only going up this year.
That's
got some work to do, brother.
Yo, that's a part. What are you talking about? I'm mingling here.
Only going up this year.
That's a part of the identity.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, but at your core, as much as I'm saying, Mr. Juno.
By the way, we also have a belief when they introduce we're not a podcast, we're a show, firstly.
Yeah, of course.
So they're going to introduce that whole podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
Shabir likes to believe that we will be the first to win that award at the Junos.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Only going up this year.
Back to that whole thing, man. Like we're really trying to rep Toronto.
Yeah.
And we have an interesting point of view that we are sharing with everybody. You know what I mean? Like Faces in here right now. He's from Barbados. Bun's from Jamaica. Knots from Jamaica. I'm Punjabi. You know, we all have our own different way of looking at stuff.
Colombia.
There you go.
Exactly.
And it's crazy how similar all our points of view are and how different they are.
Yeah.
You know, and then you look at everyone else's culture. You're from a completely different culture, but you know what? You got the same morals as me and my parents.
Yeah.
That immigration mentality, and it doesn't have to be immigrants. A lot of people that are born and bred here as well have that same mentality as well, right? Authenticity. Going back to that though, I feel like that is the vibe. Yeah. If you can consistently be yourself and find a way to sell that, good for you. And it doesn't have to be about selling it because you're just it.
Yeah.
You're just that. And this goes kind of to what I was saying about the comedy when we were driving here before.
Yeah.
Where I'm at that phase where I'm like, what's my lane in comedy? Like I make jokes about pretty much anything. Like, okay, so this is what's happening right now in real life or day-to-day news or whatnot, or some sort of impact that's occurred, that's a trend or whatnot. But what is my mode? And I didn't understand how much I'm supposed to speak about myself and my own experiences and my own point of view, which sounds silly because when you listen to everybody, that's all that you really do.
Yeah.
So I have a version of that, but I didn't know how to tap into it so much until I put that lens on. Like, how do I find funny in this?
Yep.
So example, like that Swingers Club episode. I'm in a Swingers Club with this girl and like whatever. I'm trying to go hit it. And then, like that's the whole objective. But the whole time I'm looking at everything. What, should I have done this?
Pump it up.
Yeah.
Nah, you know why? Because the Boston cream bun has come to me a couple of times recently.
I love it.
It's a joke, but anybody who's watching, go back and watch that episode.
Jeez.
Boston cream bun.
In that moment though, so I'm in that moment thinking all that, but at the same time, I'm looking at little things to make me laugh. I'm like, oh, that's awkward, or that's funny, or like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just those little
You have to be able
moments.
to find the humor in everything.
And then I got that from Kevin Hart. Like in his book where he talks about how I could go on stage and make everybody laugh. Ha ha ha, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm making little faces, I'm running around in circles, yada yada yada. But until he really listened to his mentors, back to that again, and started to understand like his art and like really telling his story, and then again being able to share that with someone like me listening to the book, that clicked. As simple as it might be for somebody else, but it made a lot of sense for me to be like, okay, so this is the lane that I'm going, and this is what I'm going to talk about. #divorce party. But yeah, like that's the way it's going.
Only going down this year.
Yeah, you're gonna start a trend. I see it.
It's
divorce parties like internationally.
Creating a business, never mind.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a whole plan.
Yeah.
We bring a DJ. You know what I'm saying? We'll shoot it.
we got one right here, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, set it up.
DJ your divorce party.
Set it up, bro.
Yeah,
We got an event. We got an event.
Yeah.
We got an event.
Yeah.
When you back again, I'm gonna book this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think it's weird. Like I believe in the authenticity factor because I think in a more abstract point of view, like we are all looking for a connection as people.
Absolutely.
And the fact that everything that we see is manufactured, that every music video that shows our values and representations of success is like shot and reshot and edited, and everyone's touched up, and there's makeup, and there's like clothes, and things are rented, and like all these things are being perpetuated. I think like the idea of authenticity is interesting because who's the most authentic? Like how can you create authenticity, or how do you showcase it? Because even within all that, I think about this a lot. It's like you're showing, like I saw a meme or something, and it's like your typical health influencer like setting up the shot before they do their like morning smoothie stretch ritual thing, like where it's like it's supposed to look like they're like waking up, God rays are shining, and it's just like them like. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to find the angle, and it's like 5 a.m, and it's not at all. But it's like all of that goes into creating that content, or creating that representation of the authentic self. So I think it's like if you're willing to, what I recommend with
and
my
that
art
is very hard to depict.
Very, very hard, and also very hard to remove yourself from the self that you're portraying.
Exactly,
because
to see that lens,
because it's like the self you're portraying can be like, I don't know, this party animal, this persona that is you, that is the person, but it's like then you can be maybe embarrassed, or you're a little scared, and then because of that fear, like it won't cut through, it won't have that shock factor like the diaper, it won't have that like authenticity of like this is some real shit. So it's like I think being able to divorce your public persona from your private self and compartmentalize that, you know, on some like Drake shit. I think Drake is like the king at that. He'll be like Caribbean one day, then he's like Afrobeats, then he's like I don't know, like from
reggaeton.
Yeah, he's like Spanish. Like it's like,
but that's his art form.
Exactly.
He becomes he's an artist, so he becomes whatever is required for that particular setting.
And I kind of feel like that's something that we as Canadians have so much of.
I agree.
So much of. So much of.
Yeah.
But it's just not on the front page. And because we buy so much into American culture.
Yeah. I want to take that back though. I don't want to say it's so much Canadian. I want to say it's mostly GTA. Maybe other cities.
Yes.
I don't think people in Alberta are. And I don't know because I haven't been out there.
That's an important
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Toronto's very important.
This is also a massive country. This is like, huge. I talk about this all the time because I'm just like, bro, like I went to BC and it was like I could have just as easily been in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like across the continent, across North America.
Yeah.
To get there, different time zones. Like, it's like, it's definitely not representative of a full-on Canadian experience. You know,
I was gonna go back to what you were saying earlier, about how to be in front of a camera and how not to be, and like that whole bit. I think what people need to do a little bit more is stop focusing on being perfect.
Yeah.
If you are always just looking to be perfect on whatever it is, you're going to slip at some point, or it's not going to be enjoyable, or it's not as authentic. And that shit's going to rub off slowly, right? Which leads me into a question that I've been thinking about a lot. And I've thrown this out a couple of times, but I'm curious, right? Random, nothing to do with the conversation, but somewhat. So divorce rates are at 50-50, right? And I was making that joke with you earlier about like, we need to go check those stats because I think it's higher. But to, John Tory's point, okay, so first of all, first question would be, was he doing a good job as a mayor prior to this whole fiasco? And that I'll leave that for the comments or whoever wants to answer it, unless you guys want to. I'm not a real politics guy, but do you want to jump in that? I'll do the part B right away. At what point can we accept that? So you're a politician. Let's just say he was doing a great job, right?
I mean, I feel like we did though.
Did we? What, the Bill Gates thing, or what's his name, Clinton, or what?
Doug Ford.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Doug Ford. Rob Ford.
Okay, but like, didn't he lost after the fact when he ran again because of all those antics?
Well,
no?
I guess.
You know what I mean? Like,
But,
I feel like this would be like, is this it though? Like, okay, so you, regardless of how it is, I get like what he had an affair, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But are we at a point where we could be like, all right, so you're not perfect, but you're doing a good job? If he was doing a good job, that's fine. It is what it is. No? Or is it still like, that's still
It's interesting.
a way to like be like, nah, we're gonna ruin you. We're gonna get you out of here. We're gonna get the next person.
just
going,
based
yada,
off of
yada,
something he did in his
Should his
personal life.
should his private life be an indicator of his capacity to be the leader of our city?
if he's running it correctly. So that's
It
the
just
part
it
where
suggests you're making decisions that you can't be trusted as a decision maker.
Yeah, impulsive.
That's what it suggests.
why?
Because you're
Based on what social norms though? Based on what social
Okay,
norms?
that's a different question. But I think based on the agreements that John Tory is maybe like portraying himself as a family man, as like somebody who shows up publicly with his wife, and
Then it's deceiving to the public.
yeah,
and
it's
like,
kind of like this isn't who you said
automatically
you were.
your
Even
trust
if you're not
just-
saying it, it's like this isn't the person that you're presenting yourself to be.
Yeah.
But what if?
But we all have a closet though.
But that part, and what if the person that I'm portraying to be is doing a great job? Like everything is fine.
Yeah, it's like, when
and
does it-
then
when does
all right,
it
this came
elevate?
out of the closet. Hey guys, my bad. But
Let's
yeah, I'm
just
gonna
tuck that back in the closet and keep
or
it pushing.
leave it open. Like, yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Like there's divorce rates are 50-50, guys. Like shit is happening out here.
this is a
These
good
social
question.
norms are no longer the same.
Real bad man.
Yeah,
I cannot
literally-
take anything seriously. When he drops that button.
I literally,
that's my
I'm like,
kryptonite right there.
This whole whatever. How many times like we've been talking about this shit? I'm like,
Yeah.
I've heard this. Is the guy who had like 20 kids,
Yeah.
right?
Ninja Man, yeah.
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 That's his name, Ninja Man.
Ninja Man. He's like, yeah.
He's just like grilling. He's like, read.
yeah.
Yeah. He's out here. I don't have an answer. Like, I don't even have like an educated opinion really, because I haven't.
This guy's going PC culture on me.
No, I
I'm playing.
I haven't thought about it.
Junos are coming up.
No, I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about it because like the logical thing would be to say like, what bearing does your personal life have as an administrator?
Yeah.
But I think it's just like about the honesty factor, maybe. To me, like it's just like, dude, can I trust this person? And I don't know, politicians, you know,
It comes right back to that though. That's how we're programmed
Yeah,
to
exactly.
think of
So it's
politicians.
like when you're just saying, when is that going to change? When is the programming going to change so that we're no longer thinking that way?
exactly.
when
Because I feel like
AI running the city.
Exactly. Because you know that's coming. I already know what your vote's going to be. I'll just vote
it's
for
not.
you.
It's not coming. People have a misunderstanding of how powerful AI really is, opposed to what it is. It's not like computers are walking around giving you answers and stuff like that. Like
well, I
even
don't know. If I ask Siri a question right now, she's going to tell me the answer.
fair.
Alexa, Siri, whichever one you're using.
Yeah,
It's weird.
but it's still programmed.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm
it's
just
not
waiting
like an
for-
independent thought. Like
When is
it's
when
linked.
is the guy version to Alexa and Siri coming
They have
out?
that.
Who is it? What's his name?
It's just a different voice. Bigsby's one for Android. You have Bigsby. But I think that sounds like a girl too.
That don't hit.
Yeah. The name's kind of cool though. Bigsby.
Bigsby.
It was like
Sounds like a
Yeah, what up,
detective.
Bigsby?
Sounds like a Welsh
What's the weather right
detective.
now? But I think it's still a
Bixby.
female voice because I don't use it.
I mean, big up all the women out there.
Yeah, I'd rather have a female voice though. You know what I mean?
You know what I meant to do earlier too? We have a frequent regular listener.
Yeah.
She just broke her foot
Ooh.
doing some Muay Thai. We were talking about it earlier, so I want to plug that real quick.
Okay. We giving a shout out right now or
Yeah,
Well,
get
broke her
better.
foot.
Get better soon.
Yeah,
Get better soon from the podcast.
it happens.
From the
Yeah,
show.
it happens.
yeah. Heal up.
Only going up this year.
I'll give you a training session on the house.
Before we wrap it up, though, I want to give you, I don't know, 2 to 5 minutes, let's say, to tell us how it started and how it's going.
Ooh, that's a great question.
It started at the beginning.
No one else finds that funny? That was great.
Thank you.
You know, it's a question of mine. I really wonder if how many people have asked their parents where they were conceived. Like, would you want to know that?
Yeah, I
Yo,
thought about all that. I'm like, where do you want me
I
to
don't
go
know
back
about
to
where,
Colombia? Like,
but I had some questions.
What are we saying here?
Apparently, they had a few miscarriages before I was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's written.
the whole journey is something that like I'm currently exploring. I worked as a mechanic. I studied as a chef. I'm making music now. Went back to school, and I think it's all like I'm the most present I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
And it's
that is key right there.
It's beyond anything I could have ever imagined, bro.
Yeah.
It's beyond anything. I lived in this town when I first immigrated to Canada. I lived in this town called Welland, Ontario.
Okay, heard of it.
And we went back
Only
there.
going up this year.
We went back
Big of
there.
Welland.
We went back there last week with my family, and like, bro, it's like to think we went to the music store where I bought my first guitar. My mom bought me my first guitar, and it was like a whole, bro. We went to the houses, we went to the shelter.
That's
we were
crazy.
at. You know what I'm saying? On some real like, we were at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, and to sit here and to be like, I can live off my art. I'm like happy. I'm healthy. I'm present. I'm learning.
Yeah, you're growing.
Fortunate. I'm growing. It's like, yeah, I could never be as grateful as I am in this moment. And I feel like, you know, it's like, it's just ongoing.
Yeah. It's just ongoing.
Where
do you see it going? Where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
You gotta
Only
manifest these things. It's like
only going up.
I love how you plugged that. Big up Lazy Jaw.
That was
Big
big.
up, lazy job. Big up, yeah. Only going up this year and next year
And every year
next
after.
Yeah, man. It's like it's incredible.
You got any major projects coming up you want to shout or anything?
Luap's project coming out in September. La Ofrenda. I did a project with Troy Junker coming out. I think next week. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wide Awake. Really, really, really proud of that. Really present. Working on my own music. You know. Yeah. Traveling, learning. Just I'm here, yo. Holla at your boy if you need beats.
Plug your stuff again, your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever you got, Twitter.
Inner Peace Outer Space. My email is david@innerpeaceouterspace.com. Yeah, I'm around.
SB, what you got? We're good, or because it's almost 4:20, bro.
I'm good.
You know what I got to do?
I'm good. I could throw a curveball at you guys if you guys want it. I'll leave it to you guys.
Nah,
You
man,
guys
we
want the
got that kind of
curveball?
time.
All
man.
right, there we go. I'll save it.
It's almost 4:20.
There we go.
But
Honestly, though, yo, David, honestly, thanks a lot for coming out, brother. It was a
bro.
pleasure. It really was.
And if you don't know, he is a 2022 Juno Award winner rap singer. of the year.
Jesus.
Big him
Thank
up
you guys.
again.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Only going up this year.
And on that note,
Thank you.